The text message from Mom lit up my phone screen at exactly 2:47 a.m. Come home immediately. Your sister needs you. I stared at those words until they burned into my retinas, my hands shaking with a familiar mixture of rage and resignation. My name is Adeline, and I've spent 25 years being the responsible one, the reliable one, the one who always comes running when called. Tonight was supposed to be different. Tonight, I was celebrating landing my dream job, senior marketing director at one of New York's top agencies. Don't let her ruin this for you, Natasha said, sliding another glass of champagne across the table. We were the last ones left at the bar, our earlier celebration with colleagues having dwindled down to just us two. You've worked too hard for this. I took a long sip, letting the bubbles fizz against my tongue. You don't understand. Willow's probably having another crisis. Last time, it was because she couldn't decide which luxury apartment to rent with Dad's money. Before that, it was because her boyfriend dumped her for being too high maintenance. And your mother expects you to drop everything and fix it. Natasha's voice dripped with disapproval. That's what I do. That's what I've always done. I pulled up my mother's contact information, thumb hovering over the call button. Don't. Natasha grabbed my phone. At least wait until morning. But I knew better. The calls would keep coming, and Mom's voice would get increasingly desperate until I gave in. I dialed her number. Finally, Mom's voice crackled through the speaker. Where have you been? Your sister's company is downsizing, and she might lose her entry-level position. She's devastated. I pressed my fingers against my temple. Mom, it's the middle of the night. What do you expect me to do about it right now? You need to come home and help her find a new job. And while you're at it, she needs help with her apartment hunting. The lease is up next month, and you know how overwhelmed she gets with paperwork. Mom, I can't. I just accepted a position in New York. I start in 3 weeks. The silence on the other end was deafening. When she spoke again, her voice was ice cold. You're choosing a job over your family. It's not just a job, Mom. It's my career, my future. I've worked years for this opportunity. Your sister needs you here. Family comes first, Adeline. Always. She paused, and I could practically see her pursing her lips in disappointment. Besides, there are plenty of marketing jobs in Chicago. You can find something local. I caught Natasha's eye across the table. She was shaking her head vigorously. No, Mom. I'm not coming back. Not this time. Then you leave me no choice. Mum's voice hardened. Either you come home and help your sister, or you can consider yourself no longer part of this family. The words hit me like a physical blow. Are you seriously giving me an ultimatum? I'm being realistic. Your father and I have supported you through college, helped you with your first apartment, and this is how you repay us. By abandoning your sister when she needs you most. I wanted to scream, to remind her that I'd worked 3 jobs through college while Willow got a free ride, that I'd paid back every penny they'd helped me with, while my sister still lived off their credit cards at 22. Instead, I said quietly, I'll think about it, and hung up. Natasha reached across the table and squeezed my hand. You know what you have to do, right? I nodded slowly, a plan forming in my mind. I'm not going back, but I'm also not going to fight about it. What do you mean? I pulled out my laptop, the champagne forgotten. I'm booking a one-way ticket to New York for tomorrow. No arguments, no dramatic showdown. I'll leave them a letter explaining everything. Holy shit, Natasha whispered. You're really doing it. Watch me. My fingers flew across the keyboard as I booked the flight. 25 years of being the family doormat ends tonight. As I confirmed the purchase, my phone buzzed again. A text from Willow. Addie, please come home. I don't know what I'll do without you. For the first time in my life, I didn't respond. Instead, I opened a new document and began typing. Dear Mom, Dad, and Willow. The words flowed easily now, years of suppressed feelings finally finding their way onto the page. Tomorrow they'd wake up to find me gone. Tomorrow they'd finally have to face the consequences of their actions. Tomorrow my new life would begin. But tonight, I had a letter to write. The sun hadn't risen yet when I finished the letter. My hands were trembling as I sealed the envelope, my entire life's frustrations condensed into 3 pages of brutal honesty. "Read it," I told Natasha, who'd stayed with me through the night. "Tell me if it's too harsh." She unfolded the pages and began reading aloud. "Dear Mom, Dad, and Willow, by the time you read this, I'll be on my way to New York. I know this isn't how you wanted things to go, but I can't keep setting myself on fire to keep others warm. Mom, you've always said family comes first, but you never meant the whole family, just Willow. When I worked 3 jobs in college, you called me selfish for not having time to help her with her homework. When I got my first promotion, you dismissed it because Willow was having boy troubles that apparently needed my immediate attention. Dad, your silence has been just as damaging as Mom's demands. You watched me struggle, watched me sacrifice everything for Willow, and never once stood up for me. Your passive acceptance of this dynamic made you complicit. And Willow, I love you, but you're 22 years old. It's time to grow up. Your problems aren't emergencies that require everyone else to drop their lives. Your inability to handle basic adult responsibilities isn't cute anymore. It's exhausting. I'm not doing this to hurt any of you. I'm doing this because for the first time in my life, I'm choosing myself. I've accepted the position in New York. I've signed a lease on an apartment. I'm starting fresh. Don't try to guilt me into coming back. Don't try to manipulate me with threats of cutting me off. I've been independent since I was 18. Nothing will change except that I'll finally be free to live my own life. If you want to have a relationship with me moving forward, it needs to be on equal terms. No more expectations that I'll drop everything for Willow. No more guilt trips. No more ultimatums. I hope someday you'll understand. Love, Adeline. Natasha looked up from the letter, her eyes wide. Holy shit, Adeline. This is perfect. I zipped up my suitcase, already packed with the essentials. Everything else would be shipped later. You don't think it's too much? It's exactly enough. She helped me carry my bags to her car. Are you sure you don't want me to drive you to the airport? No, I'll take an Uber. You've done more than enough staying up with me all night. The drive to my parents' house was surreal in the pre-dawn darkness. Natasha pulled up a block away, keeping the headlights off. I slipped out with the letter in hand. Our family home looked peaceful, almost mockingly so. The garden Mom meticulously maintained, the porch swing where Willow spent hours on her phone, Dad's perfectly washed car in the driveway, everything exactly as it had always been. I placed the letter on the kitchen counter where Mum would find it during her morning coffee routine. My hand lingered on the envelope for a moment before I forced myself to turn away. My phone vibrated. Another text from Willow. Addie? Why aren't you answering? Mum's really upset. I switched off my phone. The Uber was waiting when I returned to Natasha's car. She hugged me tight, whispering, You're doing the right thing. Call me when you land. At the airport, everything moved in a blur. Security, coffee, waiting at the gate. It wasn't until I was buckled into my seat that reality hit me full force. Would you like something to drink? The flight attendant's voice snapped me back to the present. Water, please. My voice sounded strange to my own ears. As the plane took off, I imagined Mum finding the letter. She'd be angry first, then hurt, then would immediately call Willow to comfort her. Dad would read it silently, perhaps feeling a twinge of guilt, but ultimately deferring to Mum's reaction. And Willow. I pictured her face crumpling as she realized her safety net was gone. Part of me ached for her, but a stronger part felt an overwhelming sense of relief. The city disappeared beneath the clouds, and with it, 25 years of being everyone's emotional support system. My phone stayed off in my bag, collecting missed calls and angry texts I wasn't ready to face. First time going to New York? The elderly woman next to me asked kindly. No, I replied, managing a small smile. But it is my first time going there to stay. As the sun finally broke over the horizon, painting the clouds in brilliant oranges and pinks, I felt something I hadn't experienced in years. Hope. Whatever happened next, Whatever storm I'd just unleashed, at least I was finally steering my own ship. The letter was written. The die was cast. There was no going back now. New York hit me like a wall of sound and color. 3 weeks into my new life, and I still couldn't believe I'd actually done it. My tiny studio apartment in Brooklyn was a far cry from my spacious room back home, but every square inch was mine. Earned with my own money, decorated to my own taste, and blessedly free of family drama. Adeline? Miguel, my new boss, poked his head into my office. Got a minute? I quickly minimized my email. 37 unread messages from Mum, 12 from Dad, and 63 from Willow. Of course, Miguel's office had a view of Manhattan that still took my breath away. He gestured for me to sit. The Johnson campaign presentation was fantastic. The client loved your fresh perspective. Thank you, But, he held up a hand. You seem distracted. Everything okay? I hesitated. Miguel had been nothing but supportive since I'd started, but I kept my personal life private at work. Just adjusting to the city. And avoiding calls from Chicago? He smiled knowingly. Your phone's been buzzing through meetings all week. Is it that obvious? Only to someone who did the same thing 20 years ago. He leaned back in his chair. Left Puerto Rico against my family's wishes. They didn't speak to me for 2 years. How did you handle it? By remembering why I left. Speaking of which, he slid a file across his desk. We're pitching to Nike next week. Want to lead? My heart jumped. Are you serious? That's huge. You've earned it. He gestured at my phone, which was buzzing again. Deal with whatever that is. Clear your head. Back in my office, I finally turned on my phone's sound. Immediately, a voicemail from Willow played. Addie, please. Her voice was thick with tears. I lost my job. They said I missed too many deadlines. Mom's making me move back home, but I can't. I can't go backward like this. I need your help. Please call me back. I pressed delete, but my hand was shaking. Another voicemail started. Adeline Gibson. Mum's voice was sharp. Your sister is falling apart, and you're playing career woman in New York. How dare you abandon your family like this? That letter was cruel and selfish. Call me back immediately. Delete. My phone rang. Natasha's face popped up on screen. Finally, a call I wanted to take. Your sister just showed up at my apartment, she said without preamble. What? Why? Looking for you, obviously. She's a mess, Adeline. Mascara everywhere, wearing pajama pants in public. She got fired for real this time. I sank into my chair. Not my problem anymore. I know, but... Natasha hesitated. She said she's been having panic attacks. Maybe we were too harsh. I wrote that letter alone. You know what I mean. I encouraged you, because you've watched me put my life on hold for them for years. I was almost shouting now. Did she mention why she got fired? The missed deadlines? The constant drama? No, but... Then let me tell you what happened. She spent more time on Instagram than working. She called in sick whenever she had a bad date. She expected everyone else to cover for her, just like she expected me to fix everything else in her life. A knock at my door made me jump. Miguel stood there, concern etched on his face. I lowered my voice. I have to go, Natasha. Just don't let her guilt you into giving her my address. What about your dad? She asked quickly. He's been asking about you too. Dad had 25 years to stand up for me. His guilt is not my responsibility either. I hung up and turned to Miguel. I'm sorry about that. He sat down across from me. You know, when I left home, I thought I was just running away. Took me years to realize I was actually running towards something better. Did your family ever understand? Eventually, but only after I stopped trying to make them understand. He tapped the Nike file. Sometimes the best revenge is success. My phone buzzed again. A text from Willow. Found out you're working at Marshall & Brooks. Guess family means nothing compared to a corner office, huh? I showed Miguel the message. She's trying to track me down. Want my advice? Focus on the Nike pitch. Pour everything into it. Success is the best boundary. It shows them you're thriving without them. I straightened my spine. You're right. Can I see the brief again? As I immersed myself in work, my phone kept buzzing with messages from home. But for the first time, the guilt was overshadowed by something stronger: determination. Let them panic. Let them feel what it's like to handle their own problems. I had a presentation to nail. The Nike pitch was a success, but I barely had time to celebrate before Natasha's urgent call came through. Your mum showed up at my workplace today, she said, her voice tight with anxiety. She's getting desperate, Adeline. I was walking home from the subway, the city's evening buzz surrounding me. What did she want? What do you think? She's trying to guilt me into revealing your address. But that's not the worst part. Natasha paused. Willow's really spiraling. She totaled her car last week. I stopped walking. What? Was she hurt? No, just her pride. And Dad's credit card. She was texting while driving. But here's the thing. Your parents refused to buy her a new one. Seriously? I leaned against a building, processing this. Mom and Dad actually said no to Willow. Apparently, they can't afford it. Your dad's business isn't doing well, and with Willow moving back home... My phone beeped, another incoming call. Mom. I have to go, Natasha. Thanks for letting me know. I answered Mom's call, bracing myself. Hello? Finally. Her voice was different, less commanding, more strained. Adeline, we need to talk about what you've done to this family. What I've done? I laughed incredulously. I made a career choice, Mom. I'm not the one who gave ultimatums. Your sister is falling apart. She's had to move back home, she can't find a job, and now she's having anxiety attacks. Is that what you wanted? I clutched my phone tighter. What I wanted was to live my own life without being Willow's permanent backup plan. She's your sister, and I'm your daughter. My voice echoed off the buildings, turning heads of passing strangers. But you never worried about my anxiety, did you? When I was working 3 jobs in college, when I had to cancel my own plans constantly to rescue Willow. A long silence followed. When Mum spoke again, her voice was quieter. We need you to come home, just for a little while. Help her get back on her feet. No, Adeline, please, your father's business is struggling. We can't support her like we used to. So now that you can't enable her anymore, you want me to step in? I started walking again, faster now. That's not happening, Mum. You're being selfish. No, I'm being successful. I just landed the biggest account of my career. I have my own place, my own life. For the first time, I'm putting myself first, and it's working. Another silence. Then, your father wants to speak with you. Dad's voice came through, hesitant as always. Princess, we miss you. My steps faltered. Dad hadn't called me princess since I was little. Dad, I know we messed up. I know I should have done more, said more. Then why didn't you? It was easier not to rock the boat, but seeing what it's done to you, to all of us. He sighed heavily. Willow needs to learn to stand on her own feet. We see that now, but she doesn't know how. That's not my responsibility. No, it's ours. We failed both of you in different ways. His voice cracked. Just don't cut us off completely. Please. I reached my apartment building, fumbling for my keys. I need time, Dad. Space to build my own life without feeling guilty about it. I understand. But Adeline. Yes? I'm proud of you. For being strong enough to leave. For succeeding. I should have said that years ago. Tears pricked at my eyes. Thanks, Dad. After hanging up, I sat on my building stoop, letting the city noise wash over me. My phone buzzed with a text from Willow. Everyone's mad at me, and it's all your fault. I hate you. Minutes later, another. I'm sorry, I don't hate you. I just don't know how to do this without you. I started typing, deleted it, started again. Finally, you'll figure it out. You're stronger than you think. Then I turned off my phone and went upstairs to my apartment. On my desk, the Nike contract sat waiting for my signature. my first major client as lead director. Next to it was a framed photo Natasha had taken the night before I left, my face glowing with determination and champagne. That girl in the photo had been terrified but did it anyway. She deserved my focus now, not the endless drama back home. My laptop pinged with an email from Miguel. Nike loves your ideas. Dinner tomorrow to celebrate. I smiled and replied, yes. Let Willow figure out her own life for once. Let Mom and Dad deal with the consequences of their choices. I had a celebration to plan. The knock on my apartment door came at 11 p.m. on a Tuesday. I wasn't expecting anyone, and my heart nearly stopped when I looked through the peephole. Willow stood there, mascara streaked down her face, clutching a designer suitcase that probably cost more than my rent. I know you're in there, she called out. Your light's on. I took a deep breath and opened the door. How did you find my address? I called every real estate agent in Brooklyn until I found one who remembered you. She pushed past me into the apartment. Nice place. Kind of small, though. What are you doing here, Willow? She dropped her suitcase with a thud. Mom and Dad are being impossible. They've frozen my credit cards. They're making me apply for jobs. And Dad actually suggested I take a barista position. Me? A barista? I crossed my arms. The horror. Don't be sarcastic. This is serious. She collapsed onto my couch. I thought maybe I could stay with you for a while. Just until I figure things out. Absolutely not. Come on, Addie, we're sisters. Yes, we are. Which is exactly why you can't stay here. I remained standing, maintaining distance. This is what you always do, Willow. You create chaos, then expect everyone else to fix it. That's not fair. No? What about my college graduation? You had a crisis because your boyfriend didn't like your dress, and Mom made me skip the ceremony to take you shopping. I was young then. You were 19. I worked my ass off for that degree, and I didn't even get to walk across the stage because you needed attention. Willow's lower lip trembled. Why are you being so mean? I'm not being mean, I'm being honest. I sat in the chair opposite her. Do you know what I was doing when Mom called that night, demanding I come home to help you? She shook her head. I was celebrating landing this job, the biggest opportunity of my career, and Mom expected me to give it up because you might have to face consequences for once in your life. I didn't ask her to do that. No, you never explicitly ask, Willow. You just cry and panic until someone fixes everything for you. She stood up abruptly, pacing my small living room. So, what am I supposed to do? Live with Mom and Dad forever? Work as a barista? You're supposed to grow up. Get a job, any job. Learn to manage your money. Stop expecting other people to solve your problems. Easy for you to say. You've always been the perfect one, the responsible one. Because I had to be. My voice rose. Do you think I wanted to work 3 jobs in college? To miss out on parties and dating because I was too busy being your backup plan? Willow stopped pacing, her face crumpling. I didn't realize. No, you didn't. Because you never had to think about anyone but yourself. My phone buzzed. A text from Miguel about tomorrow's meeting. The real world, my new life, calling. You need to leave, I said firmly. Go home, Willow. Face your problems head on for once. Mum was right, she whispered. You've changed. You're cold now. No, I'm just done being everyone's safety net. I walked to the door and opened it. You can stay in a hotel tonight if you want, but you're not staying here. She grabbed her suitcase, tears flowing freely now. I thought you loved me. I do love you. That's why I'm not enabling you anymore. At the door, she turned back. What if I can't do it? What if I fail? Then you'll learn from it and try again. That's what adults do. After she left, I sat on my couch, shaking. My phone showed 3 missed calls from Mom already. Willow had obviously called her. I texted Natasha. Willow just showed up at my apartment. She replied immediately. Holy shit, you okay? Yeah, sent her away. Feel like a monster. You're not a monster. You're teaching her the lesson your parents never did. I looked around my apartment, small but mine, paid for with my own money, decorated with my own taste. On my desk, The Nike contract sat next to a stack of other projects. My new life, built on my own terms. My phone rang again. Mom. This time, I turned it off completely. Tomorrow, I had a meeting to prepare for. Tomorrow, I would continue building my career, my independence, my future. And Willow? For the first time in her life, she would have to build her own future too. Maybe that was the greatest gift I could give her, even if she couldn't see it yet. 2 months after Willow's surprise visit, Natasha's weekly update call brought unexpected news. Your sister got a job, she said, the surprise evident in her voice. I nearly dropped my coffee. What kind of job? Receptionist at a dental office. And get this, she's been there for 3 weeks already. I sat down at my kitchen counter. You're kidding. Nope, your mom's been complaining to everyone that it's beneath Willow, but your sister's actually showing up every day. On time. Wow, I struggled to process this information. How do you know all this? I ran into her at Starbucks. She was on her lunch break, wearing scrubs and everything. She seemed different, more grounded. My phone beeped with another call. Miguel. I have to go, Natasha. Work call. Adeline. Miguel's voice was serious. Can you come to the office? Now? 20 minutes later, I sat in his office staring at him in disbelief. Paris? The Nike campaign was so successful, they want us to handle their European launch. 3 months in Paris leading the team. He leaned forward. It's a huge opportunity. When? Next week. I know it's sudden, but... My phone lit up with a text from Dad. Please call. Emergency. I ignored it. I'll do it. You sure? It's a big move, even temporarily. Another text from Dad. It's about my health. Need to talk. My hand froze over the phone. Miguel noticed. Everything okay? I don't know. Can I have an hour? Outside Miguel's office, I called Dad. Princess, his voice was weak. I had a heart attack yesterday. The world tilted sideways. What? Why didn't anyone call me sooner? Your mother wanted to, but I asked her to wait until I could talk to you myself. He paused for breath. It was a mild one. I'm okay. But there's more. What do you mean? The business. I've been struggling for months. The stress. Well, the doctors say I need to step back. Dad. Willow's been amazing, actually. He gave a weak laugh. She's been helping with paperwork, learning the business basics. She wants to try running things while I recover. I sat down hard on a nearby chair. Willow, running the business. She's changed, Adeline. This wake-up call. Losing you. It forced her to grow up. Another pause. Your mother's struggling to accept it, but Willow's really stepping up. My throat tightened. Do you need me to come home? No, Princess. That's why I waited to call. I didn't want you dropping everything and rushing back. We're managing. He coughed slightly. Willow insisted on handling things herself. Said it was time she took responsibility. I wiped away unexpected tears. Who are you, and what have you done with my family? He chuckled, then grew serious. We failed you for so long, Adeline, letting you carry everything, making you responsible for everyone else's happiness. I see that now. Dad, no, let me finish. You're leaving. It forced us all to change. Your mother's still adjusting, but she's trying. And Willow, he sounded proud. She's becoming the person she could have been all along if we hadn't babied her so much. Miguel appeared in the doorway, tapping his watch. Dad, I have to go. I'm in the middle of something at work. But I'll call tonight, okay? Of course. Go be successful. We're okay here. I walked back into Miguel's office, my mind spinning. Everything all right? He asked. My dad had a heart attack. Jesus. Look, forget Paris. Family comes first. No. I straightened up. My sister's handling it, and for the first time in my life, I actually believe she can. You sure? I thought about Willow and Scrubs, showing up to work every day. Willow learning the family business. Willow finally growing up. Yes, I'm sure. I picked up the Paris contract. Where do I sign? That night, I called Natasha to tell her about Paris. She squealed with excitement, then turned serious. Your mum called me today, about your dad. I know about the heart attack. No, not that. She wanted me to tell you she's sorry. Actually used those words. I sat in silence, letting that sink in. She said she's been seeing a therapist, working on her control issues. Natasha paused. People can change, Adeline. Yeah, I said softly, looking at my packed suitcase for Paris. I'm starting to believe that. My phone buzzed with a text from Willow. Heard about Paris. Congratulations, I mean it. For the first time since I'd left, I felt something shift. Not forgiveness exactly, but possibility. Maybe we all needed to find our own paths to grow up. Paris was everything I'd dreamed of and more. But Dad's second heart attack brought me home after just 6 weeks. Standing outside his hospital room, I barely recognized my sister in her business attire, typing furiously on her laptop. The insurance company's being difficult, Willow said without looking up, but I've got it handled. When was the last time you slept? She finally met my eyes, dark circles evident under her makeup. Tuesday, maybe. I'm trying to run the business, deal with insurance, and coordinate with Dad's doctors. She's not coping well. Where is she? Cafeteria. She stress bakes now. The nurses are getting tired of her muffins. I sat beside her. How bad is it? The doctors say he needs bypass surgery. Triple bypass. Her voice cracked slightly. The business is struggling, and our insurance has a massive deductible. I've been going through the books, trying to figure something out. I can help with the medical bills, I offered. No. Willow's response was immediate. You've got your life in Paris. I've got this. Willow, I mean it, Addie. I'm not that helpless girl anymore. She showed me her laptop screen. Look, I've already restructured some of Dad's business loans. Found ways to cut costs without laying anyone off. I just need to figure out the insurance situation. Mom appeared with a basket of muffins, stopping short when she saw me. Adeline, you're here. Of course I'm here. She set down the muffins and hugged me awkwardly. I didn't think, with your important Paris job. It's Dad, I said simply. Tears filled her eyes. I'm sorry, for everything. I know it's too late, but... Mum, Willow interrupted. The doctor's here. The surgeon explained the procedure, risks, and recovery time. Mom started crying again. Willow took notes on her laptop. I watched them both, feeling like I'd stepped into an alternate universe. The surgery's scheduled for tomorrow morning, the doctor concluded. Any questions? The insurance, Willow began, is approved, a familiar voice said behind us. We turned to see Miguel standing there, looking out of place in his designer suit. What are you doing here? I asked. Handling the insurance situation. He handed Willow some papers. The company's international health coverage extends to immediate family of employees on overseas assignments. I had them backdate it to when you accepted the Paris position. Willow scanned the documents, her hands shaking. This covers everything. The surgery, the recovery, all of it. Miguel, I started, but he held up his hand. The Paris team can handle things for a few more weeks. Take care of your family. After he left, Mom turned to me. He seems nice. He's my boss, Mom. A boss who flew from Paris to help with your father's insurance. She raised an eyebrow. People don't do that for just employees. Can we focus? Willow was back to her laptop. We need to prepare for Dad's recovery. He'll need care at home, physical therapy. I'll handle that, Mom said quietly. I've been talking to someone, a therapist, learning to be more present, less controlling. Mom's actually cooking now, Willow added. Real food, not just stress baking. And you? I asked Willow. How are you really doing with all this? She closed her laptop. Terrified, overwhelmed, but also capable. For the first time in my life, I know I can handle things, even if they're hard, even if I'm scared. Your sister's become quite the businesswoman, Mom said proudly. She reminds me of you sometimes. No, Willow shook her head. I'm not trying to be Adeline anymore. I'm trying to be me, just a better version. Dad was awake when we entered his room. My girls, he smiled weakly. All three of you, together. The surgery's approved, Willow told him. Everything's arranged. Never doubted you for a minute, sweetheart. He turned to me. Paris treating you well? It can wait, I said. Family comes first. Mom flinched at her own words being turned around, but Dad just smiled. No, princess. Family comes first doesn't mean sacrificing yourself. It means supporting each other while everyone grows. He squeezed my hand. Go back to Paris after the surgery. We've got this covered. Looking at Willow's quiet confidence, Mom's softened edges, and Dad's proud smile, I realized he was right. This wasn't the family I'd fled from months ago. We'd all changed, grown, learned to stand on our own and support each other in healthier ways. Okay, I agreed, but I'm staying until you're recovered from surgery. Deal, Willow said. Now, let's talk about your marketing expertise. The business could use some fresh ideas. We spent the night planning, talking, and actually listening to each other. It wasn't perfect, but it was progress, and sometimes that's enough. Welcome to Gibson & Gibson Marketing, Willow greeted me at the door of Dad's renovated office building. What do you think? I stared at the modern glass entrance, the sleek new logo, and the bustling employees visible through the windows. I barely recognize it. Wait until you see inside. She led me through, proudly pointing out changes. We've doubled our client base since implementing your marketing strategies. Dad mostly works from home now, but he comes in for the big meetings. And Mom started her own catering business. Turns out all that stress baking had a silver lining. Willow laughed. She's actually really good at it. In the main conference room, Dad sat at the head of the table, looking healthier than I'd seen him in years. There's my Paris director. Not anymore, I corrected, hugging him. New York's home base now. Paris is just a quarterly visit. Speaking of New York, Willow pulled out a folder. I have a proposal for you. Oh? We want to open a New York branch. Dad and I talked about it and... She took a deep breath. We'd like you to run it. I blinked. What? As an equal partner, Dad added, your sister's ideas and your marketing expertise, you'd be unstoppable. I already have a job. Miguel thought you might say that. Willow smiled knowingly. Miguel? Who do you think approached us about a potential merger? Dad's eyes twinkled. Marshall and Brooks's New York office merging with Gibson & Gibson. You'd head the combined operation. I sat down hard. You've been talking to Miguel? For months. Willow sat beside me. Look, I know our history is complicated, but we're not the same people anymore. I'm not asking you to save me or fix anything. I'm asking you to be my partner. Equal stakes, equal responsibility. What about Mum? Won't she expect... Mum's too busy with her catering company to interfere. Dad chuckled, though she does insist on providing food for all our client meetings. My phone buzzed. Miguel. Have they shown you the proposal yet? You knew about this? I texted back. Who do you think suggested it? You've outgrown being just an employee. Time to build something of your own. Willow watched me nervously. I know it's a lot to consider. Show me the numbers, I interrupted. Her face lit up as she pulled out spreadsheets and projections. We spent hours going through them, debating strategies, building on each other's ideas. This wasn't the old dynamic of me fixing her problems. This was true collaboration. One condition, I said finally. Name it. We keep the offices separate. I run New York, you run Chicago. We coordinate but maintain independence. Already planned for that. She pulled out another document. Draft partnership agreement. Completely equal, completely independent. When did you get so corporate? When I realized I was actually good at it. She smiled. Turns out I just needed to find my own path instead of being pushed onto someone else's. Dad stood up. This calls for celebration. Your mother's been stress baking all morning, waiting for an answer. I haven't said yes yet. Please, Willow scoffed. I saw your face when you were going through those projections. You're in. She was right. The numbers were solid, the strategy sound, and the opportunity perfect. But more than that, the dynamic felt right, equal, healthy. Mum was waiting at their house with a spread that could feed an army. Well, we're going to need a New York office warming party, I said. She hugged me, whispering, I'm so proud of who you've become, who you've helped us all become. Mom's getting sentimental, Willow Stage whispered. Quick, someone give her something to bake. We all laughed, naturally, easily, without the underlying tension that had marked our family gatherings for so long. My phone buzzed again. Miguel. Dinner tonight to celebrate, as your former boss and hopefully something more. I smiled, typing back, yes to both. Looking around at my family, Dad healthy and semi-retired, Mom finding her own passion, Willow standing confidently on her own feet, I realized something profound. Sometimes running away isn't about escape. Sometimes it's about creating enough distance for everyone to grow into who they're meant to be. To Gibson and Gibson, Dad raised his glass, and to the daughters who made it possible. To finding our own paths, Willow added, to healthy boundaries, Mom said softly. I raised my glass, looking at these familiar strangers who had become the family I always hoped we could be. To new beginnings. And this time, I truly meant it.